Hello, everybody. Good evening, or at least evening for us. We're not sure what time it is where you're watching, but thank you so much for tuning in today and wanting to learn a little bit more about Fountain Valley School and beyond the classroom and what that looks like for us. We're going to jump into our presentation here in just a few minutes. But before we do, I would love for our panelists to introduce themselves, say hello, say what grade they're in. Well, one of them what grade they're in. One of them is not in high school, and you'll hear from them in just a few minutes. And we'll tell you a little bit more about what you can expect tonight and what you can look forward to. So I'll have our panelists introduce themselves and then we'll share our screen and jump into the presentation. But we'll start with Sydney. Sydney, introduce yourself, say hello, and we can get going.
Hi, I'm Sydney. I am a 12th grader at FVS. I've been here just over 2 years-ish. My story's a little bit weird, and I am a boarder.
Sydney, where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina.
North Carolina. We love it. All
It
right. And
comes
for our,
out when she says Carolina.
yes. And for our non-high schooler, we'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, no, my name is Andy Meshberger. I am the Director of Student Activities is my formal title, though I am more commonly known as the Chief Fun Officer. And my primary role is I do all of the activities that occur outside of the academic day and outside of the athletics program. Everything else kind of comes through my office. So dances, weekend activities, evening activities, competitions between the dorms, all that stuff is mine. I'm originally from Kokomo, Indiana. I was most recently in California prior to coming to Fountain Valley.
Well, thank you both for tuning in or for joining us and being able to talk about some fun stuff. And before we jump in, we do a lot of these virtual events. We've done a few of them already this year. We're going to do some more in the winter and the spring. I've always found that this topic, life beyond the classroom, community life at schools, is probably the most fun. We can enjoy it. We talk so much about programming and curriculum and all those things, and obviously that's super important too. But the beauty of a boarding school is that you're going to be learning a lot outside the classroom, and learning takes place in many ways in these communities. And so you're going to have a ton of fun and learn a lot of things outside the classroom as well. We had another panelist just jump in, so I'll let Mr. Gunner hop in and introduce himself really quick if he wants to unmute himself. And Gunner, say hello to everybody, and we'll jump into the presentation as soon as you're done.
Yeah, hello. I'm Gunnar, senior. I'm a prefect up in Sage West and a 4-year senior too. Been here since freshman year. So,
Awesome.
of
Gunnar, thanks for hopping in. Gunnar,
course.
already teasing the student leadership things, talking about prefects. We're going to get to more of that later on in just a few minutes, but what that means, what that looks like. But like I said, let me share my screen with everybody, and then we will jump into our presentation and talk more about what community life is here. So again, you're going to learn a lot tonight about what happens after the classroom, right? What happens after 3 o'clock, and in some cases for us, even after 5 o'clock, right? The typical daily schedule at Fountain Valley classes go until about 3:30 or so. We have our after school activities, so sports or clubs, things like that, will take place at about 3:30 until 5, and then there's this whole other portion. Right, at a place like this, where students are engaged in doing a lot of things that don't quite happen in that block, and that's what you're going to learn about today. Um, so before we do any of these things, we always like to show a little bit more about this community, a quick commercial about who we are, what we do, and some of the highlights of our school. So we'll play this really quick, and then we'll jump into everything else.
We embrace the great American West. We are stewards of the environment.
We aim to see things from a global perspective.
We are confident leaders and trailblazers.
We follow our passion for education and discovery.
We said yes to a world-class education.
And you can too.
All right, so some highlights of the classroom, highlights outside the classroom. We'll talk a little bit more, but this is one of the key teams involved, including Mr. Andy there, who you met earlier, involved in community life. This is our Dean's Office team. So you see Jen Lebo there, who's our Dean of Community Life in the top left, Erica Walker, who's a Director of Student Life and Student Services in the top right. Dawn Baldwin down in the bottom right is everything and the glue to that team. No offense to Andy, but the glue of that team. And of course, Andy, who you'll hear from a bunch later on. But I highlight this team, one, for their amazing work, and to show you families at home, this is just a sliver of the folks who are involved in your student's life after the academic day and after the sports period. This team is the top of the chain, and the rest of us kind of fall under their rule, so to speak, in terms of community life. But these are the folks you're going to be talking to a lot and be hearing from a lot when it comes to how is your student doing, or how is your child doing outside of the regular school stuff. So again, that communication piece is big for us. Again, you're gonna be hearing a lot from these folks, and their names that we think are really important. One, because they're wonderful people, but two, because of the integral role they play for our community and for our students. So just a quick highlight of who these guys are, the amazing job they do. But we want to talk a little bit more about residential life to start. Obviously, we are a boarding and day school. It's a big piece of what we believe in. And I would love for Andy to lead us through this a little bit and just tell us about residential life at FVS and what's important.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I really appreciate it. As a part of that, and I'm before I dive into residential life, I do want to note in that dean's office team, Jen Lebo, Erica Walker, and myself all also teach one class at least each. So it's not as though in the dean's office we're totally separated and we're just doing student life things. We're also seeing academic things. We have advisories, which we'll talk about later. So we're very much plugged into the community. And a huge part of that community is residential life. I'm a dorm head in addition to being the director of student activities. Sydney is actually one of my prefects in Ballantine House. What's up? I'm not saying it's the best dorm, but it's pretty much the best dorm. But residential life is hugely important. We recognize that we're educating the whole child, right? It's not just academics, it's not just athletics. Boarders live here, right? And that's a huge undertaking, and we don't take that lightly. We have a curriculum that as dorm heads we're expected to follow. We have a huge amount of work and effort that goes into building community in the dorms. We recognize and understand that success is most likely to happen. Research shows us when people believe they are a part of a community that values their contributions. So we work really hard on the dorm side to make sure that our boarding students and our day students, who are every day student is assigned to a dorm. And when I walked into Ballantine this afternoon at 3 on my way to basketball practice, there were a bunch of day students in there getting ready for their afternoon activities, and all of our boarders. And we're really working to build that community, that family feel in the dorms. And the curriculum is a huge part of that. And then we also use those dorms as a unit by which we can foster a little bit of healthy competition. So we have what we call the House Cup. Gunnar will, I'm sure, tell you that Sage West is, of course, leading the House Cup currently, but it's only by 2 points. So things are very competitive. We compete as dorms. We have some other things that happen outside the House Cup as well. But we're trying to find ways to engage people. And you can see the picture there is one of my favorites. That's one of our common rooms. I'm not sure exactly what the occasion was, but it's clearly a dance party has broken out. And other things that we do in the dorms. Sydney had a birthday yesterday, and so we celebrated. We got her a card. We brought down special treat. She's gluten-free, so we didn't do a cake. We did mochi nut donuts because, listen, we're here to serve the individual. But the dorms are very much, we look at it as dorm heads as if my children, I have 2 daughters myself who are middle schoolers, if they were at boarding school, what would I want for their dorm heads to do for them? And that's what we try and do in the dorms as dorm heads and what we try and do in the dean's office, really. I think a lot of what we're doing is providing frameworks for kids to know that they are a part of the community, they're valued, and they have adults that are trusted, who they can go to with questions, with concerns, and with celebrations, right? You pass that big test, you make the varsity team, you get a lead in the musical. Those are all things that, I think it would be natural for me as a parent to worry, like, who's going to celebrate with my kid when they achieve something? Good news. We employ people who do that. And it's the best part of our job is getting to interact with the kids in the dorms and provide that for them. So Dave, if you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah, happy to.
Another thing that we own in the student life office is making sure we are transitioning students into this community. And it would be frankly irresponsible to just drop them into the boarding school community and say, like, well, go figure it out, guys. And so we have 2 courses that we require freshmen and new students to take, and also our sophomores take. They're called Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and they are very much an introduction to boarding school life. And in that situation, they're learning in Chapter 1, which is our freshmen take, and these are all of our freshmen students this year at orientation. They look so small. They've all grown so much already. But it's a class that goes over like basic things. How do I request a weekend leave if I want to go home on the weekend? How do I check my grades? What's the best way to email a teacher, right? We're teaching those practical skills, and chapter one is a place where no matter what knowledge you come in with, you sit down and we're going to say, hey, this is very practically how life works at Fountain Valley. And then chapter two is for our sophomores. And that's much more looking at, okay, you figured out how it works here in our bubble, in this community. What are some of these skills like in the larger world? And so chapter two is talking about some more of those kind of broader, more outside world skill sets. And those things we have found are very, very useful in helping our students transition successfully here onto campus and into the boarding community at Fountain Valley. All right. Hit me with that next slide, because the next one's,
This is
oh,
right
there
over
it
here.
is.
This is Andy's world right here.
Oh, this is friends. This is my big deal, is weekend activities. I don't know, I'm not in admissions, but I would guess Mr. Soto would tell you one of the most common questions we hear is, okay, I understand like how it works during the week. I understand that they get class, and then they have activity, and then they have study hall, and then they have free time, and then they go to bed. I get it. But what do you do on Saturday and Sunday? If, what we do is we have an incredible amount of fun. We offer a tremendous number of opportunities. My goal as the activities director is to offer high interest, high engagement activities every weekend. So far, if we're looking at kind of the slide, you can see in that upper left-hand corner, you might think to yourself, is that a person dressed in a banana suit? It is. That is one of our major events. It's called Silly Night Out. We've done it for 43 years. It's a night of skits and dances and weird contests. Gunner's here. He won a costume contest. Maybe he can explain what he was wearing later.
I didn't put Gunner's picture on here, and I mean, if he wants to, I'll let him talk about it. But that
Yeah,
could be for that could be for a different slide.
he dominated, if we're honest, in the costume contest. It's a really
Yeah.
awesome opportunity. One of the people who won a performance was one of our senior ladies, and she dressed as the Lorax, complete with giant blonde mustache, to recite the Lorax, kind of who will speak for the trees if we don't. We have contests. You can see people blowing ping pong balls across a table into solo cups. You see some kids with musical instruments there. We have student music festivals. We have student film festivals. We go to local sporting events. We were so fortunate here in Colorado Springs. We have Colorado College for Division III athletics. We have the Air Force Academy for Division I collegiate athletics. And they also bring incredible theater and art experiences to town. And we will run buses to those. And provided that the tickets are not exceptionally expensive, often my office will buy the tickets. You want to go watch Air Force versus Wyoming? Great. We'll buy the tickets. We'll take you, go experience college football. And then you can see some other stuff there. You see our seniors there under the W at Senior Sunrise. Yes, a really special moment. So really leaning into doing all of those things. Also, on a much more practical level, every weekend we're offering buses to go shopping. We run Walmart, Target, Trader Joe's, movie buses. We run something called a spontaneity bus, where literally I tell the person I assign to it, you're driving the 14-passenger Uber tonight. Literally, you get in the bus, the kids who signed up get in the bus, they decide where they're going. And that gives boarders who maybe don't have an opportunity to get off campus as easily a chance to go to restaurants they want to try, a chance to go to movies they want to see. We recognize that it's a unique situation. We're providing all of these opportunities to get off campus, and we share with our whole community. And Dave, we can go to the next slide. We have a weekend menu. You can find it on our website. And we also have this, which we call the weekend update video. This is a shorter version of it because I didn't think anybody wanted to watch 8.5 minutes of me talking about what's going on 3 weekends ago. But here is kind of the highlights of the weekend update and what we do on the weekends.
So before I play this really quick, thank you, Andy, for all that. Super helpful. Quick headphone warning. This does get a little loud. Not Andy's fault, just the volume is. So if you have headphones, turn it down a little bit. But yeah, we'll give you a chance to figure out how kids pick what they want to do. And this is how sort of Andy communicates with the community about what's happening on the weekends.
There are many deep philosophical questions we can ponder. If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? What is beauty? And most importantly, what am I doing this weekend? Can I answer the first two friends? No, I can't, but I can't answer the last one. This is the weekend update. Listen, I get it. Sometimes you don't want to go off campus, and who can blame you? It's a pretty awesome place to be. So we've got some great stuff happening on campus. Obviously, this Stoughton Valley. So come on down to Barn Dance Friday. See you there. It's time for a pool party, my friends. That's right, Saturday evening. We're opening up the pool. We've turned the heater up just a little bit to make it more comfy for lounging. Come on down to the J-Spac. Hop in the pool. We will have some snacks. We will have some drinks. We will have a movie. Because this isn't a regular pool party. No, friends. This is the Jaws pool party. That's right. Tom Proctor is the villain. The fall play here at FVS. You saw it promoted at all school. You know it's the talk of the town. It's going to be a great show. It's going to make you laugh and it's going to make you think. It's wonderful. Sunday evening, we're getting in the fall spirit. Cozy crafting with Miss Mish. We are sending, if you are interested, a group to the United States Air Force Academy's football game against heated rivals, the University of Wyoming. I need Colorado College volleyball. We're going to offer a Colorado College volleyball trip on what could be better. Sign up, volleyball fan bus, Friday. Mr. Loister will pay for the whole seat, but you'll only use the. So again, a quick sample and a cut together thing of just some of the things we get to offer. I think most importantly is the tone, right? I mean, we do a nice job, and I give Andy and his team all the credit. We want this to be fun. Right? Our students work really hard and do a lot of things in the classroom and the sports field. The weekends, we want them to take the time to hang out with their friends, enjoy these things, and really soak this in. So, Andy's wonderful singing aside, we want to make sure our students have this experience and make sure they are enjoying themselves all the time, but especially in their free time. Students, I would love to hear from you guys, right? I think this picture is super fun. But Sydney, give us a little bit of your experience, the weekends here, some of your favorite things you've done, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, there is literally anything you could want. Meshberger is probably the best person on campus to schedule this all. Like, I live with the freshmen. I'm one of the prefects. And just the other day, like, we're downstairs and they're like, we want to go shopping. And he's like, okay, I'll add it to the list. Like, he will listen to anything. He's like, Sydney, you golf, right? Yeah, I golf. You want mini golf, top golf? What's a good place? He is probably the best person to go to for this. And I think one of my personal favorite memories was actually with Gunner. Last year, they have a Mesa Ridge bus to this basically shopping center of heaven. Like, any fast food you could ever dream of ever is there. And me, Gunner, and I think it was like six of us, we hit every single place. Like, we went to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Arby's, Sonic, Taco Bell. Like, genuinely, I don't think I have ever eaten more food in my entire life. And it's really just making the most of whatever, like whether it's on campus or off campus, like there's always something to do. Like, my friend, she lives maybe 200 feet from me, and she'll come sleep over my room just on a Saturday night just for fun. So it really just is a very different type of community, considering that, like, yes, we do live here, but like we also have day students. So like for my birthday last night, I went off campus with my two day student friends and we went to Top Golf and go-karting racing. So it really just is exactly what you make of it. And it just is a great community because whether you're on campus or you're off campus or you're on a bus or you're doing something with someone, you're having the best time. And I just think that even the simple trips, like going to Target and getting groceries for the week, or going to Trader Joe's and getting the talkies, like it really just is like a full fun day event that like nothing else tops. Like going by myself, going with my mom, going with like just my dad, like it doesn't matter, like going with my friends on a bus, someone else doing all the work for me, telling me where to go, where to be, and all I have to do is show up and like have fun. Like that's exactly my type of plans.
That's awesome. Gunnar, I'd love to hear from you too. What are the weekends like for you? What's your favorite things you've done? Yeah, how do you soak all this stuff in?
I really resonate with the last year's hitting every single fast food place. That was really fun. I ate so much food. Probably spent like $100 on fast food, but that's besides the point. I had so much fun, and things on campus are Always so fun. I really love when we have the music festivals like Danezapalooza and what's the other one? Danechella.
Yep.
We got some fun names for those. And it's just really cool to see people like showing off their talents in front of the whole school on just like a Friday afternoon, like eating dinner outside on the lawns, like beautiful places.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But then even just like standard going out to get like stuff from Target, anything you need, you can hang out with friends and have a lot of fun. Go to Chick-fil-A after, and just eat more food because I like food.
You like
But
eating.
yeah, I do like eating.
Well, thank you both. I appreciate it. And I think, the general takeaway, I think for all of us, and Andy, maybe you can, quickly chip in on this too, but they're doing it together, right? We want our students together to spend some time together to whether you're eating chicken nuggets or you're going shopping, whatever you're doing, right? You're doing it with friends. And so I think that's the beauty of weekends at a place like Fountain Valley because you're around each other all the time and you get to celebrate these little things. And sometimes the little things where, again, you're just going to get French fries together, become memories that stick with you for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from our office's point of view, we want to offer a nice balance of things. Some things are very scripted. We offered a bus to the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs production of Macbeth. Yeah, you're going to sit and watch and absorb that. And that's not a super communal experience. But afterwards, we took the bus across the street. I think they got boba and they talked about the show. So it's because we live where we learn in this community, even your time off, you don't go to school or work, you just exist, right? I think Gunnar and Sydney would say like there's not a big line between school and life because that's how it is. I saw Gunnar at dinner tonight. I will see Sydney when I go home tonight, back to the dorm. We just live together, and weekends are an extension of that. It is easy to go into a dorm common room and find people playing a game on a weekend. It is easy to find people kicking around, well, not kicking a volleyball, bumping and setting a volleyball around in front of the dorm. People are simply existing together, and we're offering opportunities for people to go out to Target, to Trader Joe's. All the discussion in the dorm on Monday night or on Sunday night was about the cute miniature state shopping reusable bags that my girls bought at Trader Joe's. That was all anyone could talk about. So, is that a thing I would talk about if I wasn't at boarding school? No, that's not a big deal. I bought a reusable shopping bag. But because we did it together, we did it with friends, it elevates every experience.
Nice. Let's move on a little bit and talk a little bit about advisory. And Andy, I'll let you take this too. But what
Yeah,
does advisory look like here? What does that mean? What are the logistics behind it? Like, how do
100%.
we do advisory at Fountain Valley?
Yeah, and I think it's a great question. I think a lot of schools, day, boarding, private, public, do some version of advisory. I think we do it very, very well. Advisory is a multi-grade, multi-gender, non-academic group that you are with for your entire time here. It's 8 to 12 students with one faculty advisor. And like I said, those are not all just teachers, right? Mr. Soto has an advisory. Ms. Lebo, Ms. Walker, all these people have advisories, and you stick with them for your entire time here. And so you really get to see. And so our freshmen will be in advisories with seniors, with juniors, with sophomores, right? Exactly. And it's this opportunity for them to make friendships across grade levels with people who have literally been here and done that and can give them good advice. We also use it. It's the way we attend all school events. So we have an all school meeting every week. We have fall concerts, winter concerts, outside of the ones Gunnar was talking about, these kind of student led festivals. We also have a music program. And so the picture you can see there in the middle above advisory, I think was taken before a music program, but it might have been just before an advisory dinner. Um, and advisory dinners happen once a quarter. Those are formal events. That's why you can see so many of our students dressed up, looking very sharp. You can see we get the linens out on the tables in the dining hall. And so it's an opportunity, what you might think of as a bit of a family dinner, right? And we're very intentional about doing that. And then you can see in that upper right picture, one of my favorites, some of our seniors with maybe their last first day of school sign because their advisor demanded they take first day of school pictures with the first day of school sign. It's a great way for faculty to connect to students outside of the classroom. It's a great way for students to connect with students that they almost certainly never would have gotten to know otherwise and to build really, really great relationships. And I would anything that Sydney and Gunnar would add, because I have never been a student in the advisory. I will say it meets twice a week. In addition to kind of the other things, there's a dedicated place in our schedule for it. There's a dedicated curriculum. But as far as the advisory experience, I think they can probably speak better to what that looks like because they're students in advisory.
Yeah. Cindy, I'd love to hear from you about your experience as an advisee and, how you connect with your advisor and what does that look like?
I mean, your advisor is just like your main point of contact. Like it's almost like your second parent, right? So if you get in trouble, if you're having a bad day, if you're having a hard time, if you're having a great day, like it's sorry, I don't know, I'm confusing crazy. It's the person that you just go to with any news. And this year my advisory is somehow all girls and five of us. And there's one person in every grade except there's I think two juniors. And it's great. I mean, seriously, it is just a place where I connect with people I would have never talked to ever before. Every year your advisory changes just a little bit, and I think the addition and loss of just one or two people really changes kind of the entire vibe of everything. Last year we lost two seniors, and I just think like it has shifted so much. I mean, in advisor, you are celebrated, you are helped, you are confirmed, you are thanked. Like you just kind of go around. Like a lot of the times we have different planned things of like, okay, today we're going to talk about what we're grateful for, or Sydney, how is this class going? And I just feel very recognized because there's very things I feel very strongly about. Like, I'm not good at Spanish. And I'll come in, I'm like, I'm doing great in Spanish. And they're like, yeah, you are. So it's definitely just a place for basically whatever you want. And your advisor, especially, is there for you. So if you ever were to get in trouble or have a hard time, or even need a place to stay over a weekend or a Thanksgiving or Christmas, they're the person that you would want to go to. And my advisor, Miss Monroe, is absolutely that person for me. I think she has supported me through thick and thin, has seen me at my worst and my best. And I think that's exactly what they're there for. And they do a great job of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Gunnar, anything to add about advisory and what that looks like for us here?
Uh, Not really. There's just a few points where I'd be like, yeah, if I need help with anything, I'd go to Mr. Haupt, my advisor, 4 years. I He's great. He's just who I talk to about things.
Yeah.
It's just like if I need something done, I can go to him if I can't get it done myself.
Yeah. That's perfect, you guys. Thank you both. And I think, the one thing I tell families about advisories is that, like Sydney hit the nail on the head perfectly, that we are the point people for whatever, right? And we deal with all parts of high school, right? Whether it is, advisees coming to me, hey, I really want to take advanced math or whatever it is my senior year. How do I do that? Right? And we help course plan. We say, okay, what's that going to look like? What prerequisites do you need? How do we get there? Advisee saying, hey, I'm homesick, right? I miss home. I miss my dog. I miss whatever. Cool. Let's go for a walk. Let's talk. Let's figure this out. Oh my gosh, I saw my crush texting somebody else. What do I do? Cool, right? That's what we're here for, right? All the little parts of high school that make high school fun and hard and challenging. That's what we get to do. To Andy's point earlier, like this is one of the more fun parts for us as faculty because we really get to work with our students and get to work with families, right? And so for the parents watching, we work very similarly and very closely with you guys as well, right? We are your point people for whatever. So if you have questions about how your child's doing or transportation from a holiday, from a winter break or a holiday break or whatever it is, right? That's going to be what we're here for as well. So again, advising is a big part of our community. It's what we really believe in terms of that connection. Like Andy said earlier, our advisees get to see us not just as teachers or as coaches, but as people, right? They're going to see me with my two little ones, right? They're going to see me with my dog. They're going to see us as adults in this community, and it humanizes them a little bit, which I think is leading to a lot of really strong connection and helpful in the classroom as well. So a really special program, one that we take a lot of pride in, and I think one we do very, very well. Um, let's talk student leadership here, team. And students, I'm going to lean on you guys here. What opportunities are there for students to help lead this community? We want you guys to take ownership of things, but what does that look like for us here? And Sydney, we'll start with you again.
I mean, pretty much if something doesn't exist, they're open to creating it. I have been an admissions ambassador since I pretty much have gotten here, which just means I help out wherever they need, giving tours, doing stuff like this, just trying to basically get the word about why and how much I love FVS. This year they basically revamped the whole program, and it is a lot stronger and a lot just more, I would say, together. I don't know like the proper vocab word there. And I am a lead admissions ambassador. So I am kind of higher up. I am like one of the top people to go to for Sydney. People are coming in for lunch. Can you have lunch with them? Absolutely, right? I am just kind of there. I am such a people person. I am so talkative. Anyone on campus can vouch. They have probably heard me screaming wicked across the campus or dancing or singing or screaming or something of the sorts. I will talk to anyone. I will laugh with anyone. It is my favorite thing. And I just think FES is the place for that. I'm also a freshman prefect, so I live in the freshman dorm with them. And Mr. Meshberger is our dorm head. He's a great dorm head. Cooks breakfast for us. It's amazing. And it just has given me a new outlook. I applied to be a prefect last year, not even a freshman, and I did get freshman. Going into it, I was very nervous, obviously, right? It's a new change, especially with brand new people. But I just think I approached it with a good head on my body, and I just went in with a good mindset, and I've made the most of it. I mean, these girls. I mean, I wrote half my college essay on them. Like these girls have shaped who I am in just such a short amount of time. Like truly seeing them grow from like Mr. Rushberger said, like that photo of us, that was first week of school, like not even, I don't even think that was second day. And like how much they have grown and basically become who they are is just incredible. And I have gotten the widest range of questions ever of Sydney, how do I put a reach request in, to Sydney, how do I talk to a guy? And every single question is a very, very different approach. And I just think it's a great learning experience for me and a great learning experience for everyone around me. And it really shapes FES as a community as a whole, too, because not only are we interacting with teachers, like not just like teachers, like humans, like, right? I'll see my Spanish teacher in sweatpants on the weekend, like super casually, which you never really get used to. But I think it really gives me a different and like look at my teachers and how they work and how much effort that they put into things like this and how hard they put into making a dorm work and planning activities, because now I'm doing that. I'm working behind the scenes and it is a lot of work and it is so much fun. It is so rewarding. And I think that's really what makes FES because what you get is what you put in. And I just think that's a really true statement. And I mean, it shows to be true as I've continued on.
Yeah. Gonna tell us more about what the leadership opportunities here at Fountain Valley are. What can students get involved in?
Oh, there's so many options. I don't know if I can name all the options of what you could do. There's prefects, which me and Sydney both are, and it's a little different in the upperclassmen dorms. Very more one-on-one, and you can be talking to more so your friend rather than like the underclassmen, the freshmen who are like just getting here and probably have a lot more questions, honestly. But there's also we have the Big SIB program that we just started back up this year, which just introduces new students of all grades from freshman to senior into the school. And I think that's really great. And it's nice that we just have that introduction. I had three little sibs this year, and just meeting them on like the first day was really nice. And it seems like they were able to get like integrated into the community really well. Uh, and you can also run for class presidents as well at the start of the year. So even a new student who might get a lot of hype on the first day and be like, "Oh, he's really cool" or "She's really cool," they could run for president and get it. So I did that this year. First time I've been class president, even though I've been here 4 years, and it's been really fun.
I think thank you both. I appreciate it. I think again the prevailing theme here is we want you to get involved, right? And there's a ton of different ways you can do it. And I think Sydney was spot on when she said if there's something that doesn't exist, we'll, find a way to create it and make it work, right? I've been talking to some students about starting or at least vamping up a food committee, right? So we can give good feedback to our dining hall staff or what we like or what we don't like or what works and what doesn't kind of thing. I know Andy works really close with sort of folks who help plan the weekends, right? And weekend activities committee. So there's a lot of different things that students can jump into, and that's what we want. We want them to take charge of their experience here. So if you're passionate about something and it doesn't already, a leadership opportunity isn't there, there's a good chance you can start one as well.
Well, and I think if I could add to that, I think
Yeah.
the other thing that happens because it's a fairly small community, there are leadership opportunities across the board. Like Gunnar said, like you show up on day one, by day three, you might be saying to yourself, "Hey, I'd like to be on the student activities committee." Great, there's a seat for you there. And it's a place I think you can find bigger educational institutions where that's not going to be the case. But I think in this community, every student has an opportunity to lead. And we've been talking about formal leadership opportunities, but there's a whole lot of informal leadership that's going on as well. And I think we have a member of our faculty who is our dedicated leadership person who makes sure that we're teaching leadership skills. We believe firmly that leadership is a skill that can be taught, and integrating those leadership skills lessons into our class retreats. We aren't even going to talk about class retreats today, but we have a mountain campus, and we take all of our students there for individual class retreats, and we're working on leadership skills there. And when we're traveling on our interim program, leadership skills are there. It's Yeah, we're talking about formal leadership on this slide and right now with these guys because they are obviously two of our great formal leaders on campus. And there are so many opportunities that don't necessarily have a title where kids are getting an opportunity to lead and they're learning those skills. So I think it's really a valuable thing.
Cool. We'll move on to clubs, right? In a similar vein of if it doesn't exist, feel free to start it. But Andy, if you want to talk to us a little about clubs at FVS, what that looks like, that'd be
We
great.
started club number 26 started this week. So we it turns out line dancing is very popular. I know,
Yay!
look how excited Sydney is for line dancing club. In the video you heard me singing about our barn hoedown. In organizing that, we found out we had somebody who works in our administrative office who is a line dancing teacher, and she came down and taught line dancing. And afterwards, some of the kids who were there went to her and said "Hey, that was fun. Can we do more of that?" And she was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And that's what it takes to get a club started. Clubs meet every Friday. We have a dedicated club block on Friday afternoon. So you're not giving something up to be in a club. All students are in clubs. And again, leadership opportunities abound in clubs. But you can see here, these are kind of our kids at the club fair this fall. All the clubs set up on the quad, and we have a great time. Just like walk around, meet somebody. What club do you want to join? And you can see there's a chess club there, the art club. Gunnar, that's you in like a mountaineering club, perhaps?
Yeah, it's like the outdoor climbing club. So I just started that up this year. I'm really like this summer, I finally got to go outside with my friends and go rock climbing in the local area, Garden of the Gods and Red Rocks in that area. And it's so fun to go outside. So I really
Yeah.
wanted to bring that over into the climbing team and have some people who have had a lot of indoor climbing experience, like translate that outside and get all this new gear. We have it all on this table in front of me and just learn more about how to uh, do things outside.
Yeah, which, I mean, if I'm honest, I did a poor job because I was talking about all the normal things we do about like concerts and football games. But if it hasn't come up in the name of the school, we are in Colorado and have these awesome outdoor opportunities. The ski season has just started. We run a ski bus. We have a ski and ride weekend. Um, Hiking, just getting out into nature is something. I mean, just on campus is how many 1,100 acres of prairie with paths and mountain bike trails. Those things are available. So we have clubs for that kind of stuff. Yes, there's a mountain biker. We have some of our clubs are more kind of affinity groups. Like we have a Black Student Union. We have a Hispanic Alliance. Those kinds of things as well in the club block. So tons of ways to plug in on the club side of things. And again, educating the whole person, right? Find an interest that you're passionate about. Maybe try the art club and it wasn't your thing. Try chess next. That opportunity to try things with a really low barrier to entry is a really huge positive of the club program.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate everything you said. And again, my favorite part is about clubs of Fountain Valley. If there's not something you want, we're gonna go ahead and start it. Right. I
Yeah.
had a couple chats with kids about we all share a passion for sneakers, right? We love Nikes and Jordans and all these things. They're like, well, can we start a sneaker club where we kind of get together and potentially shop or go look? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So there's things in motion for that too, but it's fun for all students to kind of jump in on something that you love, right? And so Sydney, Gunnar, we heard from you about mountaineering club and outdoor hiking and outdoor climbing. Sydney, what clubs are you a part of? Aside from line dancing, apparently.
Yes, I'm very excited for line dancing as of this, I think next week or yeah, I don't know, it
Yeah.
starts soon. I'm
The week
excited.
after break, I believe we start.
Yes.
So
I'm a part of Girls Leadership. One of my two very close friends are the leaders of that. So we do a lot of stuff about basically like just women on campus, how we can feel more involved, get more involved. We provide a lot of like feminine products in every single bathroom on campus, or at least try to. Stuff like that. I know I signed up for a lot of clubs that I have not been able to attend, although Um, I was a part of the Danes paper last year, and I'm trying to think. There's so many that probably have my name and email down. I'm part of Round Square, which is technically a club, but is
Mhm.
so much more than that. I could probably talk
Yep.
for an hour about how Round Square basically changed my life. It is a international basically exchange program that you apply for, and the club just basically educates you on that. So after going on my exchange to South Australia this past summer for 6 weeks and meeting basically my best friend. Um, I go to the club every Friday and just tell other people what it was like. We talk about where they would want to go, other opportunities that I could possibly have in the future relating to this club. Fountain Valley, I think, is one of 6 schools in the country that is part of it. And I went to South Australia. I know we partner with schools in Tasmania, in South Africa, in Peru. So really that opportunity is endless, and all you got to pay for is the flight. So it is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you would really never find anywhere else, and changed my life. So
Awesome. Gunnar, anything to add quickly about clubs at Fountain Valley?
I think I said my bit. Just join a club, try something new. It's really just a nice opportunity to do something other than what you have done. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people to go climb outside, which is something not many people have done,
Yeah.
which is, I think, really
Right on.
cool.
Cool. Well, we did want this thing to go about 45 minutes, and we're coming up on time, so we timed that pretty well. But before we say goodbye, I do want to ask our panelists one last question. And I guess, Andy, we'll start with you. But what's one piece of advice you have for these folks, right, who are thinking about applying to boarding school, eighth grade, ninth grade, whatever it is? What's one piece of advice you have for these families?
Aside from what we've heard from Sydney and Gunnar about getting involved, don't let a worry about what will I do when I'm not in school affect your decision to apply. Um, like we have an entire staff that works on that. And I hope that that's what came across. We spend every bit, not every bit. I'm not going to claim that I spend as much time and effort as multiple academic deans on academics, but we spend a lot of effort making sure weekends are good and making sure we're engaged over the weekend. And so if your concern is, but what will I do on the weekend? Don't let that stop you from applying. That would be my advice.
Cool. Sydney, one piece of advice for these folks?
I would say just be excited. Like high school is terrifying, and I think Fountain Valley or boarding school is something that is so different, and it is just unmatched. I think just be excited, look forward to it, come in with a positive attitude. You will meet friends that you will have for life, you will have experiences that you will remember for life, and it will shape who you are.
Gunnar, last bit of advice for these folks.
Just show up and be able to try something new or be ready to, because there is new things everywhere. You can try being a leader and getting in one of those positions, or you could try some new activity like, oh, they have something that I've never done on the weekend menu, and I'm gonna see what that is and go look at it, or see like Macbeth. I haven't read it or I haven't seen it, so that was cool to go to.
Awesome. Well, panelists, thank you all. I appreciate your time and thank you for sharing your wisdom and your insights with everybody. We are always available for questions in the admissions office. So if things pop up and you want to learn more, don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. We're always happy to chat. You saw the slide there right at the end with the important dates. So keep an eye on that in terms of application deadlines and things like that. But again, if there's any questions, anything you want to follow up with, please, 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 we're always happy to help. So give us a shout anytime you are free. Thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to hearing from you later on and have a great rest of your day. Go Danes. Thank you, everybody.